What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do something a little different, and we're going to introduce a new thing to Dylan Talks Tone. This is going to be a video series, I think. We're going to try it anyway, see if it works. It is going to be basically you're going to ask a question in the comments on this video. We are going to pick a question from those comments, and we're going to make an entire video about it. But it's going to be in sort of this kind of format. Now, it's not always going to be driving. It just happens to be that I have to take the car to the dealership today to have some service work done, and this is all the time I have, and here we are. So that's what we're doing. So it's a little bit more informal, but it might be a little more informal. Although radar detector doesn't need to beep in your ear. So let's get into it. So today, so if you have a guitar question, I want you to put it in the comments of this video. We're gonna pick the question that we're gonna answer in this series in the next video out of the comment section on this video. It'll probably come out on Saturdays or Fridays. I'm not really sure yet. We're trying to figure out what our schedule looks like and how it's going to work. That's why I wanted to do the first one on Monday to give it kind of the week to build up some ideas. And it's going to be sort of a question and answer thing like this. We're not going to, probably won't be, I don't know, maybe we'll fit some demos into it and stuff, but I want it to be kind of more crowdsourced. So we didn't have one for the first question. So what I did is I went to YouTube and I actually found, this is kind of wild. I found the highest, you can look through, there's tools on YouTube to see what are like the most popular questions in a particular genre, this being guitar stuff. And it was, how do I get good tone out of my electric guitar? And that might seem basic, and there's gonna be a bunch of people that jump in the comments and be like, "Oh, practice. Yeah, you gotta practice. You gotta practice a lot." Okay, so let's get into it. So, and I'm gonna kind of go in order of importance here, and how you would approach this. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about what we're doing to make tone on an electric guitar. What we're doing is we're taking a vibrational energy, kinetic energy of the string, the motion of the string, and we're turning it into electricity. That's what we're doing with an electric guitar, okay? We're not moving air like with an acoustic guitar that moves our eardrums. We're actually converting kinetic energy to electrical energy, right? All right, that's what we're doing. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that kinetic energy is clean, to make sure that it's what we intend it to be. So that means that mechanically, the first thing, number one, that you need to do to make sure your guitar gets good tone is to make sure that mechanically your guitar is sound. And that sounds sort of weird because we're talking about an instrument, but really, mechanically, the guitar needs to be right. So that means that when you pluck the string, all of the kinetic parts of it, all of the things that you create motion, need to do it cleanly. No rattles, no buzzes, and so that when you pluck the string with your picking hand, the vibration that you introduce to that string then is the exact vibration that you intend to present to the pickups. Okay? So if you have a loose screw in your bridge, if you have a loose neck joint, and I don't mean like totally sustained, bro, like 45 foot-pounds of pressure, of torque on your neck bolts, and this guitar is better than, I just mean tight. I just mean enough that we do not have looseness. Enough that there is not any kinetic energy lost to any other thing but the strings moving. This could be loose tuners. This could be a loose nut. This could be a bound nut. actually an incorrectly cut nut that causes like plinky stuff or vibrations or anything like that. Now here's the thing, a lot of times you'll hear that stuff and it'll become buzzes, it'll become hums, it'll become little things, little rattles. Sometimes you don't hear it. Sometimes it is not completely apparent as a buzz. Sometimes it'll be a rumble of some sort. Sometimes it'll be some sort of you've heard of people call it wolf tones, for example, where you'll have these little harmonic things that happen in the guitar, and then all of a sudden that's energy lost. That is not what you intend when you pluck the string. So make sure that your guitar is mechanically sound. Make sure that everything is tight, okay? Because we're dealing with converting kinetic energy to magnetic energy. That's number one. All right, number two is going to be string choice. String choice is a lot more important than people think. I think that string choice is an overlooked deal with electric guitars. I think that people spend basically what they do is they're like, well, these ones hurt my fingers and these ones don't. This is easier to play and this one is not as easy to play. I think there's a lot more to it than that. Okay, so you can make a guitar easier to play, yes. However, if that's not the only goal, the goal is to make sure, again, that when you pluck the string, the kinetic energy gets presented to the pickups correctly. String tension changes that big time. Or it can. Scale length changes that. Those two things are interconnected, right? So a longer scale length takes more tension to get a string to a particular pitch. So a 25.5 inch scale has more tension in it at A440 than a 24/7.5. This also obviously is affected by string gauge, but it's not just how the guitar feels. It has a lot to do with a lot of really nerdy stuff. But basically, the bottom line is, when you pluck the string, a heavier string gauge moves differently than a lighter one. Now, this is not to say that heavier strings make more tone. That's the stupidest thing. Because really what it's more involved with is how you as a person interact with those strings. Everything about the electric guitar really that matters is how the human being interacts with the strings. And so making sure that you have the right string tension for your playing style, we talked about this in a video last week, I think, but it's part of this too, that your playing style, your application of the guitar and how you apply it. That's different for me, that's different for you, that's different for everybody, so don't let anybody tell you how to do it. Just go and try various string gauges. That's what I would recommend. I would recommend trying various string gauges. Okay, number 3. Speaking of how we interact with the guitar, besides all these things, all these first 3 things are really that. How we as a human being interact with the guitar. This is where our tone comes from. People's like, the tone is in the hands. Well, they're not wrong, right? It's not the only thing, obviously. But they're not wrong because how you interact with the guitar is how you sound, period, 100%. Well, not 100%, but a large percentage. So, number 3 is going to be setup. And again, this is not anything to say that you should just go, okay, I need X amount of... we talked a video about this last week too, where we really dove into depth about how each person should set their guitar up set differently. Don't just go, what should I set it up as? What are the specs? And you go and set the guitar up that way. That's not how you do it. You might start there, but don't be afraid to move it around. You know what? I like my action a little higher. Sometimes, I've got a couple guitars, I like the action a little higher on a couple of the strings than on the other ones, right? Sometimes I like Well, I'm a big one for super flat neck relief, right? And a lot of people disagree with me on that. Like they don't think that it's possible to have a guitar with super flat neck relief, for example. I think it's awesome. And I think it's the only way to go. But that's what, again, we're all different. So there's nobody's wrong. It's just how you set your guitar up. Why does this have to do anything with tone? Because this is how you interact with the guitar. You might play harder than me. Probably don't. I actually play kind of hard. Okay, so you might actually have a lighter touch than me, which is entirely possible. I'm sort of ham-fisted. I'm sort of messy. So, I just slam some chords out, and that's what I do. So, totally punk rock. But that means that I probably play different than you. You probably have a whole lot lighter, feel and finger feel and all those things. So that means, do you need a different nut height? Do you need different fret size? Do you need a different string height? Again, going back to string gauges, because string gauges are going to determine all of this. How flat is your neck relief? All those things can be changed. I think that's a thing that I just want to really impress upon people in a few of these videos that we've done lately is all of this stuff can be changed. This is not, there's no rules at all for any of this, right? And so if you see me do something, or if you see your friend do something, or your friend tells you, or a Facebook group tells you, this is how it's supposed to be on your guitar, don't even listen to them. Start with a standard, and then move it around until you like it. Because how you interact with the guitar is number one important, more than anything. Because not only does it mean that you're going to have better tone, but you're also going to like it. If you don't like the guitar, you're not going to play it well. If you don't like how the finish feels, if you don't like how it feels in your lap or on a strap or however you play it, you're not gonna like it. If you don't like the color, if you don't like the guitar, you're not gonna play it well. I know that people, well, that's not, it doesn't have anything to do with tone, the color of it, or the binding, or the whatever, and that's why I'm not paying for this feature, because Gibsons are too expensive because they have all this stuff on them and it doesn't have anything to do. It has everything to do with the tone. If you don't like the guitar, you're not going to play it well. Period. 100%. If you do not like the guitar, you will not play it well. And so if you think it's ugly, or if you physically cannot interact with it in a way that you're comfortable, you're not going to play it well. Caveat to that is, don't be one of those guys who's like, I can't play X or Y guitar. Learn how to play everything, right? Be flexible, and learn what will happen when you play a guitar with a bigger neck. Doesn't mean that, or a smaller neck, or whatever you don't like. It doesn't mean that you can't play that guitar. It means to play that guitar differently and allow yourself to discover a new sound. Because and this is exactly proves my point, is that if you do that, you'll be like, oh man, this thick neck is like weird and I don't really like it. But you'll automatically, if you ever picked up a guitar and you've automatically just started playing something different than you normally play, that's because that guitar affected you differently, it felt different to you, and it inspired you to do something different. And that's what I'm talking about. Number 4 way to make sure that you get good tone out of your electric guitar. You need to understand the sounds that you are trying to produce, okay? Understand the sonic space. What is the goal of you playing this guitar? Are you playing by yourself? Are you playing in a band? Are you playing, with one other person? Is that other person playing an acoustic guitar? Is that other person playing a bass guitar? Understand that an electric guitar is a mid-range focused vocal, like it's human voice actually, right in that 1K center range. Understand that is the frequencies, quote unquote, the sonic space that the electric guitar lives in, right? So when we play at home, a lot of times we're going to be a lot bassier than we normally would if we play with people in a band. For those of you that play live and those of you that play in a band, you know that your guitar tone's way different. It's like, because you don't want to stomp on the bass player, you don't want to stomp on the rhythm player, you're a lead player, but you also don't want to stomp on the vocalist. But then maybe you've got keys over here, maybe you've got, if you're really cool, you've got strings, right? So there's lots of things going on. I stole this from John Bollinger. He told me this like 10 years ago. Where are you in the sonic space? Understand where you are, because if you are in the wrong place, you won't be heard. And it's not because your pickups need to be higher. I need higher output because I need to punch through the mix. Well, that's because you're in the wrong sonic space. It's because you're trying to occupy somebody else's sonic space and you're getting run over. You don't need to be louder. You need to understand where you are in the sonic space. So, if you're playing alone, you can do whatever you want. But if it's too bassy, then maybe you need to cut something instead of boost something. Like, really think about that and learn about that. Learn about what you're trying to do and the sonic space that you're trying to occupy. I don't think people think about it enough. They just want to be louder, right? But I don't know if you've noticed, for those of you that play my pickups, you'll know that our stuff's not really high output, a lot of it, but it's loud. Why? Because we focus on frequencies that matter when you're playing guitar alone or with other people. But it's really, really important to understand that and focus on that. We don't focus on high output, loud, cut through the mix. Those are dumb words to me. What we want to do is make sure that you're heard, the frequency's right, like the frequency range of the pickup is correct, so that you're heard. Good clarity, good mid-range. Those are the things that punch through the mix, not high output. All right, and then number 5, this is going to be everybody's favorite, and all the people who jump in the comments and they're like, it's all about practice. It is. It's all about practice. And so here's what I'm going to give you. This is not going to be the same thing as everybody says. You just need to practice. You need to play more. You can only relic a guitar by playing it. Okay, whatever. Equipment. Understand your equipment. This is in any hobby, right? Don't just buy more gear. I mean, buying gear is fun. Like, buy lots of gear. Buy lots of pickups, buy lots of pedals, buy lots of amps, buy guitars. It's super fun, right? But before you do that, understand what you have. There's chances are that you have a lot more tone in what you already have, but you just don't understand it. You haven't spent enough time with it, and you don't understand, after talking about all these other things, getting to this point and being like, okay, now that I did all this stuff, and I did the first 4 things, and I really understand sonic space, my guitar's set up really well, and I'm going to go back to the stuff that I already own, and I'm going to go, okay, wait a minute, what can I get out of this? What sounds was I trying to get? Now can I get them? Did I realize that, I was picking the string wrong? Did I realize that my string height was wrong? Did I realize that I didn't understand the sonic space and I need to cut this in the EQ instead of boost this other thing? Like, all those things matter, and then you get to this point and really understand your equipment. Like, really, really learn it. And I don't mean like practice to be a better guitar player. Like, that's a thing. We have to do that. We all practice. But really understand your equipment and make sure that you're getting what you think you... Because you'll give your gear to somebody else. Your buddy will sit down with your stuff and he'll sound awesome. It happens to me all the time because I'm not that good. Somebody will sit down with me and be like, I'll hand them my guitar and my amp and won't touch any knobs, and they'll sound amazing. And I'm like, why? Because they understand what they're hearing, and they understand what the sound is, and they understand how to get it out of the same exact thing that I was using, and it sounds better than me. And maybe they're a better guitar player too, but understanding the gear is super duper duper important. That I think a lot of people overlook that, right? There's a lot better tone in the stuff that we already own. Hey, that rhymes. I didn't even mean to do that on purpose. How about that? There's mud puddles everywhere. I think they wash my car when they're done anyway. All right. I'm pulling into the Audi dealership, and it is time to go. You guys, do me a favor. like, subscribe, do all the things. Thanks for hanging out. Get in the comments and ask a question that we will then use in the next one of these videos. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in the next one. I timed this perfectly.